I will start, and after my short presentation, then I'll give the floor to Jose. And like I said, Eemeli Hytönen is the name, Metsä Group, Metsä cooperative from Finland, and I'll give some let's say additional points to the expectations from the industry viewpoint. We've heard many good questions that I interpret are from the industry, so let's continue from there. So first of all, even though Harri already presented somewhat, I'll explain how the industry is really involved in this project, and then go through some kind of normally considered obstacles in publicly funded projects, and then specifically how did we do those in the SteamDry project, and then end with some prospects. So we have 5 product manufacturers in the consortium, in addition to the two unit operation equipment or process providers. And we have a very tight industry participation or engagement in the project. So we are leading work packages, and of course participating in the rest of the work packages. And how do we participate? We actually develop together the use cases or case studies that are being studied. We also evaluate our own business cases. Harri mentioned that one work package is really devoted to only that part. So these are really participating companies' own business cases. The results will not be shared, but we are working hardly and heavily on understanding how it might change our own business. In addition, also was mentioned earlier, we host experimental activities, be it measurements or possibly producing some samples for experimental work. Now, in all these jointly funded consortium projects, we face some challenges, but in the SteamDry we have taken, I would say, a very good approach to tackle these. So normally there is a lot of administrative stuff involved in these projects, but well, one of the things being that this is a certain type of an EU project, the administrative tasks are relatively low. Regarding the intellectual property, we have agreed, of course, in the consortium agreement, everything that is needed, but in addition, we've also had many workshops to align our understanding. How do we share information? In which phase we let others know that we have something inventive here, and everybody is well taken into account when looking who is really the creator, who is the owner of the intellectual property. Perhaps the most difficult challenge is always the timeline versus the market needs. We heard in the previous presentation some ideas on when the technologies might be available, but the key here is really that we, as an industry who is participating, we build together the roadmap. We build together with the technology development and R&D the timeline. Not that we just expect it to be ready, but instead we raise the right questions at the right time and develop the solutions together, so that when the time is right, when the technology is available, we are also available and ready to take on these technologies. So I think we have tackled these key topics that always are there with these projects, but now taking this approach in the SteamDry project has helped so far. Now, on another viewpoint, how we see as an industry, what this project has brought so far already and continue to provide for us is that it creates a lot of innovation opportunities. We have a very good consortium here. The competencies from top research institutes to do the work. It gives the possibility, but also that we are there together. We share information that can be shared, and therefore we are able to get there faster and create the innovations that are needed for superheated steam drying in general. We heard about the research infrastructures already, and it is something unique in this project. I think that we have a good combination and lab scale, but also at pilot scale to create within the project, produce samples at such scale that is needed for the dryers themselves. So if we think of the drying testing in pilot scale, this is what is needed, these advanced infrastructures that all the participants have. There is naturally skill and talent development ongoing. There are several thesis works ongoing, and that's also important. The future talents are being trained in these projects, and they get the industry relevant questions to be answered. So this is both kind of both ways. Both the industry understands we need these future talents, but then on the other hand, the research and the academia is seeing us and giving us the chance to give the feedback. So this is a very, very good example of how the ecosystem is developing, and now specifically in this context. We heard the results, so I'm not going to repeat them, but to raise what kind of insights I think we've gained so far. The energy savings potential seems to be significant. It's not just an incremental improvement. It is much more. Now this is shown with simulations, studies, and we are, of course, now in the future expecting then that these are proven in the pilot scale. We have also heard of the possible technology availability in the future, and that is already now has been a useful insight. So we are managing the expectations from the beginning. We are not expecting this to be ready tomorrow. But on the other hand, we can already start thinking of the possible implementations for our mills around Europe. There were many good questions in the previous session, and as heard, not all of them are yet solved. But that's how we see it is the kind of an insight for us, is that we understand what are the challenges that the technology developers need to solve. We are giving input to those, but of course we don't know everything unless we are tightly following the technology development, and that's the key point here, that we are together solving the problems with the R&D, but also equipment manufacturers. And we are represented, the industry is represented by 5 companies. Of course, we have the assets that we have, and the paper crates are produced that we are producing. So at least we are now in a very good place to align our future thinking when we see the full potential of this superheated steam dry. Last point I wanted to raise is also very important. This is a consortium, perhaps for some industrial players already well-known partners from previous projects, but not to all. So this is a very good, has been a very good chance so far already, and continues to be so. We have visited the laboratories of the research organizations. We have visited also some companies, and that's a place where the innovations and all the insights are created on how this could be done. How could it be even better? Not just implementing a technology and that's it, but it's continuous learning with these site visits. So what do we expect as an industry from now on? Of course, the commercialization is much more than just the technology being available, and that's what we are working on, especially in the last part of the project, considering the business cases, both in general in Europe level, but also as companies. So we do hopefully get to that level that we can have long-term roadmap or strategy for commercializing this technology within our companies and broader in the industry. The second thing is that this is not something that one company can alone achieve. So it's through the partnerships we can build the demand, but build also the availability for such technologies. So we expect even tighter collaboration and partnerships being formed during this journey and after the project as well. And then the last point, of course, we want to ensure and that it is ensured that we are aligned as a market for taking up the technology when it is there. And part of that, this is the link to Jose's presentation, is that we understand what actually is the environmental performance of these technologies compared to the traditional one. That we make the decisions then based on right reasons and not just follow one metric. So with that, I thank on my behalf and let Jose continue.